We're not trying to be the finished article as a business or as people. You know, this, like I said, this is the first time that we're running or building a D2C subscription business.
It's pretty fair to say, isn't it? VCs have a bad rep.
Yeah, they do. Some of it warranted, some of it not, some of it create bad press.
Hi, I'm Eddie Whittingham and welcome to Pitch Please. Today we're going to be speaking to another entrepreneur about their business and hopefully helping to answer some of their questions. I'm Eddie Whittingham, founder of GoFounder, and today I'm joined by Dave Foreman.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm the co-founder of Praetura Ventures, a VC based in Manchester focusing on backing exceptional founders in the north of England.
So Pitch Please is designed to help entrepreneurs between that stage of having an idea and then, the thing we all think they need to go on, which is Dragon's Den, where they get crazy investment. In between, there tends to be people with a lot of questions, and hopefully Pitch Please can provide those answers. We've asked Dave to come in today because today's episode is all focused around funding, and Dave's going to be our resident expert, as much as he didn't want me to say that.
I'm not sure I'm an expert, but we do obviously meet a lot of founders who are looking to raise capital. Most of them are slightly later stage than Luke, but I think some of the principles apply to whenever you're trying to raise money.
I'm really looking forward to hearing Luke's pitch, to find out more about his business, but also to find out more about how we can help him and some of the problems he's facing with getting investment. It's something that a lot of founders face. It's something that we have this sort of aura around in terms of getting investment, approaching VC funds. So it'd be really great to get to grips with that and learn more about it.
Hi, I'm Luke, one of the co-founders of So&Mo. We're a new D2C brand in the lawn care space. We wanted to take part today to get a little bit more experience with raising investment. It's something that we're doing for the first time, both myself and my co-founder. So we wanted to come here to get a little bit more guidance on things that we should be wary of, or ways that we can use the system to our advantage. We feel really confident about today. We feel confident with our pitch. We know our business. We think we've got a great opportunity, and we can't wait to hear David and Eddie's thoughts and get some advice to take things forward. Hi, I'm Luke, one of the co-founders of So&Mo. A little bit of introduction into our background. Myself and Mark have been working together building fine lawns for around about 5 years. My background is in turf supply, and Mark has been managing, constructing and sort of maintaining the best courses in the UK for the last 20 plus years. We spotted that there was a fundamental flaw in the domestic lawn care market. What traditionally happens is people will get the wrong product, they'll get the kind of wrong time, they'll apply it in the wrong way, and fundamentally that leads to poor results. It's kind of a bad experience, it's boring, and it's confusing for the customer. So we created So&Mo to deliver personalized performance products at the right time of year, which means that our customers get the right amount at the right time with the right formulation, or with our 30 years of expertise on how to apply it correctly, which means that they then get a green lawn for 12 months of the year. So we're currently raising a pre-seed round of 300,000, which is going really well for us so far. That 300 is split between marketing, product, and operational runway. And today from this session, I would find it really useful from yourselves to talk a little bit more about how we go about communicating with our investors and with our VCs to get the most out of that relationship to ensure that everybody is on the same page.
Fab, thanks Luke. Sounds like an interesting business. So just tell me a bit more about, I guess, the model. So it's direct to consumer.
Yep, correct.
And how does that look from a consumer perspective? What's the buying journey?
So the buying journey is that we are taking the user through a personalized flow for the subscription. So the main premise is we want to make sure that they're on the right plan for their size of lawn. So the first step is they can use our API online, which allows them to kind of get their house on Google Maps and measure out exactly how big their lawn is. And then we can personalize their lawn care plan from the size of that lawn. So once they've got their lawn size sorted, it will then price up accordingly how much fertilizer they need, and then that kind of goes into the subscription plan where we deliver every 8 weeks.
Fab. And then what's that like from a revenue perspective for you? Is that you get paid every 8 weeks, or is it a monthly payment that they make?
Correct. Yeah. No, we do that on every dispatch. So it's every 8 weeks they get charged. We also have another revenue model, which is where the customer can buy one-off products, such as bigger bottles of the fertilizer or grass seeds or other ancillary products.
It's like upsells.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a classic subscription model, really.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Great.
Fundamentally, what we needed to do is make sure that the amount of fertilizer used was for that customer. So it's not one size fits all. Everything has to be personalised for their own garden.
Does that mean that each garden in like different areas of the country is different, or is it you've got one product for every garden? It's just how big your garden is.
Pretty much, yeah. So we in the UK have got a similar climate wherever you live. So our plan and the different formulations that we have are fine to use around the country. They're also able to kind of go into European countries with similar climates, so Belgium's and Germany and things like that. It's only when you start to get into the States where they've got different climates in different parts of the States where we'd have to adjust the formulations.
And if I bought it, how do I put it on the grass?
So ours is a concentrated liquid, which means that we can send it through letterboxes, and it's really quite small. So we mix that with water into a sprayer, and you kind of go out and spray it on your lawn. It's really simple, and we've got animations that show exactly how to best patterns and things.
And do you sell the sprayer, or does that come with the system?
Yeah, so there's two different types of sprayer dependent on the size of lawn you've got. So if you've got a smaller lawn, a small handheld sprayer will be fine. If you've got a bigger lawn, you might want something that's like a backpack. Yeah.
Okay. And if I'm the average man with the average size house,
Yep.
with the average size lawn,
Yep.
how much does So&Mo cost me per month, per year, whatever it might be?
Per month, I would say that the average lawn size is probably around about 100 square metres. So you're looking at around about £12 per every 8 weeks per feed. And for that size of lawn, you could get all the feed into a handheld sprayer, which are around about £30, something like that. And that will last you 10 years.
Pretty low cost then, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what we wanted to get the balance of is, yes, we're selling a performance product that's come out of the sort of the sports industry, or certainly from us as kind of the sports background, a performance that we wanted to see, but we wanted to make it affordable that everybody can enjoy the benefit. It's not something that is high cost and only the bigger gardens could afford.
So we've got the product, we've got some customers, so early stage of that, and you mentioned there you're looking to raise 300,000. So what's your pain point at the minute then? What's the bit you're struggling with or you want a bit of help with?
So the thing for us is, both myself and Mark, it's the first fundraise we've ever been a part of. We've never had to do this before. So, we're stepping into the world of VCs and private equity and angel investors. And what we want to know is kind of how best to navigate those waters. We're very open and honest people, and we'd like to think that everybody operates that way, but there's kind of rumours that actually isn't the case. So we want to know maybe what the pitfalls or what things to look out for, things we should be aware of, but then also how VCs like to operate, how they ideally would like to work with founders, and actually ask the question, what can we do for them? Or, what kind of information do they want to be able to give us the support that we need?
It's pretty fair to say, isn't it? VCs have a bad rep.
Yeah, they do. Some of it warranted, some of it not, some of it created by press, some of it, we do. It's not, I don't think it's a much loved industry. It's, the traditional route for a business like this would be have an idea, get some traction, get some customers, build a product. Honestly, the best way of going about any fundraise is to be open, honest, and transparent. People and founders kind of want to oversell what they've got. They want to tell people they're further down the journey than they are. They know every single bit about it, and they can guarantee they can acquire customers for X and sell it to them for Y, and therefore we're going to make this. And then they put a financial model together that says, in 2 years' time, we are going to be £1 billion company. And the reality is that's just not what happens in the majority of cases. There's lots of unknowns. I think if you try and pretend you know too much about all those unknowns, I think you get really stuck.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that we've been, from the conversations we've had up to now, it's very much a case of we're not trying to be the finished article as a business or as people. You know, this, like I said, this is the first time that we're running or building a D2C subscription business. So we don't know everything. And if people can give us advice, you know, what I find in most things is personally take every bit of advice you can give, you can get from people. But at the end of the day, you then have to make the decision on which advice you go with.
And that's a really important point, right? So I've got a particular bee in my bonnet that a lot of feedback from one internal, you know, from one very short conversation, maybe you've pitched for an hour and you've had an hour's conversation with a VC. Like, honestly, please feel free to completely disregard whatever they tell you, because they don't know your business as well as you do. They don't know any of that. They're unlikely to know much about lawn care. They're unlikely to know, you know, anything about how you're going to approach your customers or what your customers want, or whether you should, you know, package it every 2 months or whether you should package it every 3 months. They don't know this thing, but they try and use, I guess, rules of thumb and heuristics. You're the one who's putting in the blood, sweat and tears to do it. So you should build the business the way you want to build it. And part of your journey of finding investors is to find someone who wants to come on that journey, not for you to go on their journey for your business.
Yeah,
I think this is a real good point, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they look at angel investors or high net worth or VCs as almost, they'll give me the answers, or not even that, they're looking for the answers, but they'll perhaps put more weight on the answers that they're getting from them. And I think there's a real danger that can massively warp their perception of what they're going to do. I know when I was building mine, someone gave me some advice that I should build all of my training out. It was an online training company. I should build all of that before I started selling it. Now, if I had done that, I'd have gone under way before I even made any money, and obviously, you know, had some success with it. So it's about, like you said, picking and choosing what advice you listen, but, you know, appreciating that. Yes, they might be in a different position to you, and obviously you're going to them because you want their financial help.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will want their expertise. But it doesn't mean they're right just because of the position they're in.
But then there's sticking to your guns a little bit as well. You know, I was talking to somebody who was talking to a founder, and I think they'd given away like 60% at an early stage, and it's kind of like, well, you haven't got anywhere to go for future rounds now. You've given away way too much, yeah. So there is a balance, and we're quite open and saying we know there are going to be future rounds. You know, we know that. So you always kind of have to have that in the back of your mind as well. Of okay, the valuation is X right now, but you know, if we go and raise 10 times this in 12, 18 months, well, actually the valuation is going to be Y. So we need to make sure that we're managing that percentage.
It's right? That balance, isn't it? And it's like people give it away, I think, a lot of times too easily. And through naivety sometimes. And
through Dragon's Den, actually, genuinely. I think Dragon's Den is a weird throw. It's kind of, I want 40% for 50 grand. It's like, just...
Do you think that's linked to, I sometimes think one of the problems with the startup community and industry is the perception that investment means success at the point of investment, rather than we've got investment, that's day one of a business.
Raising money is difficult. It means that someone's bought into you. It means that someone's bought into the opportunity of the business. So it is something to be celebrated, and especially for the founders who've raised money, it's something to go, it's kind of one of those things. It's a milestone moment, but you know, realistically, the only thing that matters is how you build your business and what the end result is for either an investor or for you, whether you're trying to build a business that creates a legacy for you, or whether you're trying to build and say in 3 years' time, want to sell and go and buy the big house or whatever it might be. The only thing that matters is the end state, and the journey to get there are just milestones along the way. It should just feel right. And a lot of times it doesn't. And I think, especially at the very early stage you're at, that valuation piece is, people get obsessed with what the valuation is, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 1 million, whatever it might be. It's actually not, all that's doing is saying how much money does an investor put in and how many percent do they own.
doesn't really matter about how big it is, how small it is. It's about, is this person right? Is this deal right for both parties? And go back to something that you said about everybody should feel that they've got a good deal. I think that something that I like to use is fair. I think that the feeling of fair is something that is everywhere, and it's just a feeling. You can't put a number on fairness. But if everybody sat there and think, you know what, that's fair, then we get along well. As soon as that fairness is unbalanced, that's when things start to cause problems.
I think that's a really great point, because when you grow this business, it won't be smooth sailing. It won't always go to plan. Your financial projections you've put together for VCs, they won't be hitting the way you hope.
They never do.
They never do. Most times it's not quite as quick as you want it to be. Maybe it goes quicker, and maybe you can't get the material you need, or maybe you have to pay more to acquire customers. Maybe you have to change your model on the way. Whatever it is, it's not a linear path. That's going to only be exacerbated when you hit the inevitable bumps in the road that come up. And if we always say that, like, one of the things that's really important to us as an investor is a cultural fit, because it won't always go to plan. And if you don't really, really like the people you're working with on the way in, it's going to be fucking hard when the inevitable bad things happen.
Well, and this is the important part, is that you are bringing somebody else into your team, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, and I think some people naively think, I'm just going to take the money. And it's like, no, you are getting into bed with somebody, so you've got to be
and that's what we
prepared to do for the long
didn't.
run.
We didn't want just money. We want, when the bumps start happening, I want someone in my corner. I want someone that's going to help us fight our way out. And so for us as kind of a new brand and raising money, that the money is not the be all and the end all. Okay, that's what we need to get where we need to be.
It's the accelerant, isn't it?
We want the accelerant, we want the connections, but we want the support, definitely.
So what did you think to Luke's pitch?
It was good. I mean, he's very early in the journey, but I think he's got some really nice proof points. I don't know much about the home garden care market, but I think the good parts of the business are, subscription model is fantastic. Yeah. It's inherently scalable. There's enough margin in the product to make it reasonable to assume that he can attract enough customers and make enough money from each customer to make this an interesting business.
And then for people watching this, as a bit of a takeaway, VCs sometimes feel like this enigma and a bit of a hoodoo around, how do I get involved? Like what is a rough, I guess, ballpark entry minimum requirements? I know different VCs are different, but when should people think about VC funds as an option?
I think the right time to think about a VC fund or investment is when you need investment. So that can be before you've even put pen to paper on a business plan. There's a much smaller window of people who are prepared to invest at that stage. And as you progress and prove more points, so prove that you can sell the product, prove that you've got the product, that there are more and more investors who are prepared to look at it. So to me, it comes down to, when do you need the money? When are you comfortable that if you get the money, you can do something sensible with it? The
advice that we got today was fantastic. It affirms everything that we're currently doing. Humanises VCs. They don't have all the answers, and I think that we're able to go and present to future VCs and angels with that honesty and that openness, and that understanding that we don't have all the answers yet, but they're looking at us as an investment, as people, as founders, and also a brand and scalability. If you want to know anything more about lawn care or fertiliser, go to So&Mo.com, and you can find us on the social media, So&Mo Lawns on Instagram and Facebook.
You can check out the full episode of this over at GoFounder.com. And GoFounder is a platform for entrepreneurs looking to start, grow, or scale their business, and it's entirely free, so please check it out.